And we are back. Welcome to the Sage's Nook podcast. My name is Tom, the Adventure Sage. This is my brother Mitch, the Dual Wielder, and we are both longtime DMs here to talk about anything and everything D&D, TTRPG, Daggerheart, Warhammer, nerd stuff. Mitch, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am doing well myself. It is a beautiful Sunday evening as we are recording this. I've had a wonderful day. I hit a workout in the morning. I got Chipotle in the afternoon. I bought the first book of the Stormlight Archive. I'm going to start reading that because all my friends are bullying me about never having read it. I'm excited. I'm having a good time.
Not much going on. I am playing my first session back in a while on Tuesday. Exactly. We're running our online game. We kind of left off at a pretty climactic point in a small little dungeon crawl they were doing. Not really a crawl. More like they were exploring an abandoned fort. It was a climactic point. We cut it off. I got busy and also fucking lazy because I suck. But yeah, so we're starting that on Tuesday. So we'll be able to talk to you guys about that. Tom's one of my players, so we'll be able to give some insight too.
Playing my favorite character.
I'm excited for that.
My favorite character,
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, I know.
Creo Solar. You say it every other episode.
That's because I love him. He's awesome. So I'm very excited to start that back up. It's an online campaign, obviously, but Mitch does a lot of cool stuff with the maps, and our party's very fun. I'll be at a very big party, so sometimes people like to take a long time. So
I sometimes wish we had less players. It'd make it a little easier for me. But you know, everyone wants to play. I gotta serve. You gotta
get all the boys in there. You gotta get all the boys
in there.
Can't exclude any of the boys.
Eventually, I will. This is like almost like a for certain thing. We will run a live play at some point that I will probably DM.
Hell yeah!
And Tom will be a player, and we'll definitely have a smaller party for that, and that'll be a fun time. Playing D&D more seriously, not necessarily very serious. We might be joking around and stuff, but that'll be interesting and cool to see. I don't want to spoil anything because it might be cool to be a little bit of surprise.
Oh yeah, well,
I think.
Let's not say anything then.
Let's not say anything. I will be running a module. I might edit it a little just to pizzazz it up. Change a couple things here and there. With this module, I've heard some things about how it can be pretty boring in parts. So I might, random encounters and stuff. Those are fun, but I might just make my own and then just like not make them random. I don't know. Just kind of like add to the plot a little more. Maybe have something interesting going on rather than just, two ogres show up.
Hey,
you got to fight them.
What do you got? What do you got against ogres? Okay, this is a good segue into my update of D&D. I can finally talk about the past few sessions of my campaign. I know I've very briefly been talking about it, but I'm very excited. We had a very good session. We completed our third session of the campaign last week, and it was the culmination of a dungeon. So there's a very large boss battle and a lot of kind of like lore drops and stuff that the party was figuring out. The miniatures I used for this session, and honestly, a lot of this campaign, they are from Bestarium Games, which a lot of their minis were recently featured on Critical Role's Age of Umbra. That's where I was like, I saw them for the first time. I was like, they're very like dark fantasy, like Dark Souls-esque miniatures.
Very metal.
So I saw them and I was like, I need those. I need those bad. And I've been using them pretty exclusively in my campaign now because I'm playing a dark fantasy campaign. Not really like Age of Umbra at all, but that sort of vibe, that more dire, serious, dark themes and stuff like that. But yeah, they just fought this thing called the Siege Breaker. It's like this giant skeleton, a gargantuan creature that a level 2 party is fighting, which you don't usually get that a lot. So I was very excited to throw that out there on the table. They were definitely a little intimidated by it, and we had a very good encounter. So it culminated in that big battle, and there were a lot of things that, they were kind of in an encounter where they had to protect an NPC while they were doing some sort of ritual, and the Siege Breaker comes in and it's like running around and crawling around and throwing statues at him and stuff. So very cool encounter. But yeah, after that climax happened and they had a moment to breathe, like I said, we're playing dark fantasy rules. So I'm adapting a lot of the rules from Grim Hollow's campaign guide, which means a night of sleep is not a long rest. A night of sleep is a short rest. You have to have 2 nights of sleep, like in a safe location to get your long rest. So it kind of like locks the party out of like just restarting and being at full health every day. It makes random encounters a lot more deadly when the party is traveling because you can't just go back to full at the end of every day. So they opted to stay in the temple that they were in right by the entrance and take a short rest. And what I've been doing is whenever they sleep whenever they sleep in an area that is not like a protected civilization, I have them roll a d20 on a 16 to a 20 or on a 4 to a 1, they will have an encounter. So 8 out of 20 chance? What is that? 40% chance they'll have an encounter. So they rolled an encounter and then they rolled, because again, they're only a level 2 party, so I don't want to TPK them, but they rolled
the Demogorgon.
Yeah, they rolled the worst on the table, which was an ogre, which is a pretty good challenge, especially at this point because so many of their resources were already depleted. So an ogre walks in and they have a little bit of a role play because ogres are very fun creatures to role play with because they're so stupid, but they do understand some languages and they're somewhat intelligent.
Why you me?
Yeah, exactly. You have the famous Hobbit scene where I guess those are trolls technically, but same thing.
They're ogres. Yeah. They're ogres.
Same thing.
The trolls in Lord of the Rings are ogres. Let's just be honest.
Definitely. But yeah, so they had a brief roleplay exchange, but then ultimately it did end up being combat. And I was scared because, again, we've had a whole episode on this. I don't fudge my rolls. I don't pull my punches. They rolled an ogre, which made me very scared on the random encounter table because I was like, fuck, they're already kind of hurting a bit. This thing, if it rolls well on one of its attacks, it can put someone down. And we have a whole mechanic of what happens when people go down and they get grievous wounds and stuff. So there's more at stake here. They bodied this thing. It didn't even stand a chance. They roll initiative. It rolled okay initiative compared to the party, whiffed its first attack. Then the little gnome ranger toppled it with his staff the halfling ranger. Sorry if you're listening, ranger. The halfling ranger toppled it with its staff. So everyone just surrounded it and just started curb stomping it into oblivion. He would then use half his movement to get up, get toppled again. He got one shot off and I was excited because right when they started demolishing him, I was like, you know what? Fuck these guys. I'm gonna put one of them down. And he makes contact, hits on his club attack, and I was like, all right, all he needs to do is roll like average damage, and the ranger's going down. He rolls a 1 and a 2, still a sizable hit for a level 2 ranger, but it wasn't enough.
See, here's your problem. You said, they're starting to beat my guy. Now I'm gonna take one of them out after your guy was getting his shit kicked in.
Well, it was one of those things I was still playing hard. Playing hard, but I was scared while I was doing it. But now,
when you're the DM and you're role playing as that ogre's not thinking, I'm going to take it easy on him. That ogre's thinking, I want to eat these fuckers. So when you're the DM and you're running that monster, you run that monster. He's angry. He wants to eat him. He wants to club him over the head. He wants to rip a guy in half. That ogre's trying to do that.
Yeah, of course. It was. Ogres are very simple creatures. They swing a club, and that's pretty much what they do. I was doing exactly that, just behind the veil of my poker face. I was sweating a little bit because I was like, fuck, it would be very bad if one of these guys got killed in just a random encounter after they had already beaten the boss. But, they decimated him. They beat him in like 2 rounds. I think 2 natural 20s were rolled on him in that encounter because of the advantage because he was on the ground. It was tough. It was a tough loss on the ogre's part. But yeah, very excited to continue the campaign. Mitch and I, we're back to our schemes. For those of you, the OG listeners that have started listening almost a year ago at this point, know that when we were in the first few episodes, we were both running campaigns at the same time. So we were just on the phone all day consistently, essentially writing our campaigns together. Like Mitch would help me with mine. I'd help Mitch with his. And yeah, we had one of those sessions. What was it, last night? Where I was sitting there in my chair. I don't know what the fuck you were doing, but we were just brainstorming about brainstorming the outline of the rest of this campaign. And we're cooking.
Great flambe.
Bobby Flay on this freaking campaign. I'm very excited. I'm going to do some more prep tonight, but very excited
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, because this first arc that I had sent them on is very much unrelated to the grand scheme of things, or at least, I always try to tie in some things that maybe I could pull from that later, but this
just my warm up, dog. This is just my warm up.
It's like the tutorial phase. You got to give the party a few
Tutorial
sessions.
Island.
Yeah, exactly. Tutorial Island. You got to give the party a few sessions to get used to their characters, to find their party dynamic, and then you throw them into the shit. So this little arc was, in my headcanon, a little bit unrelated to what comes next. It's just kind of, so it was a very generic dungeon with some cool lore that I thought up of, but ultimately just kind of like a dungeon for them to get ready for the rest of the campaign. So, but yeah, very excited. Honestly, I would recommend doing that if you're starting a campaign, especially a campaign that you plan to be very long term. Don't sit there before the campaign is even started and brainstorm everything and plan out everything and know who the big bad is already going to be before the campaign even starts and the characters are made. Because guess what? You have no idea what this party's going to be like. You have no idea what they're going to attach themselves to or what they're going to gravitate towards. The goal is for your players to help you plan the campaign inadvertently. So don't get this whole outline right off the rip and expect your players to follow that, because they don't know what you're thinking. And also it's a collaborative experience.
Yeah, maybe a couple key things, like, at some point, I want these two nations to go to war at some point in the campaign. Or I do have a villain that I think is going to be the main villain, and I'll reveal him at a later point if they do this. Or if they don't do that and they decide not to go that way, I have this other thing that could kind of play into that from this character's backstory.
And don't get me wrong, definitely plan and brainstorm, but don't cement your ideas in the campaign and then become flustered when it doesn't go exactly how you think it's going to go. It's very much spoilers for How I Met Your Mother, if anyone's listening. So if you're not, skip ahead 20 seconds. If you don't want spoilers for a sitcom that came out.
If you didn't watch that show from 15 years ago that's had like 15 seasons.
Yeah. How I Met Your Mother, from the first episode of that show, the writers had already known what the last episode was going to be. And that put them in a corner. And as the seasons unscrewed and unfurled and they kept writing everything, the audience fell in love with the chemistry between Barney and Robin. So at the end, when Robin ends up with Ted, everyone felt slighted because that's not what the audience ended up liking. They didn't want Robin and Ted. As the season went on, they wanted Robin and Barney, but the writers had pigeonholed themselves into that one outcome, so everyone felt like it was cheap. Everyone was not satisfied overall with the ending. Don't do that to your D&D campaigns. Let the players explore, and then as they start coming into their characters, then you can kind of start really, choosing where you want to take them and stuff.
Yes.
Don't plan out your campaigns before they even start. Take like an introductory arc of the campaign and let your players get used to the party dynamic and everything, and then really start seeding. It just helps. It just kind of helps make everything flow a little bit more, and it'll cause less work for you as the DM up front, because then you can kind of adapt to how your players are acting. I don't know how exactly we got on this subject. Oh, we were talking about my campaign, but
yeah, we were talking about your campaign and Tutorial Island. Yeah, just let your players find their own path in the game. Obviously, you're going to put quests in front of them. You're going to put storylines in front of them, and you're going to encourage them to go on those storylines because it'll be easier for you. And, you want to tell a main story. Like, as a DM, you're putting characters will make a whole backstory and do stuff like that. As a DM, you're putting much more work into the game and the story than they are. Yeah. So you want to tell your own story as well. But you got to let the players kind of go in the direction they want, because they're trying to tell their stories along with you.
Exactly. So let's move on.
Got any questions? We got any questions this week, Tom?
We have some questions. We have some build-up from questions.
Impromptu wisdom check?
Yeah, let's do a little impromptu wisdom check.
Wisdom check. W.
This one's from Thanos. How do you guys...
Thanos, yes. Bald character.
Yep, bald character, super powerful. How do you guys manage long-distance travel, specifically seafaring or astral sea travel? This is a very interesting one. Let's talk about long-distance travel. There's a lot of different ways. I feel like I say this every single time we get a question. There's a lot of different ways to come at this. There's a lot of different ways to pick this apart. Yeah, it's because there is. It's a question.
We're going to tell you 2 ways. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. I think, and this makes me think, I'm pretty sure the Dungeon Dudes did a video on this kind of topic a long time ago, but there is two concepts you need to choose between. Is the destination the goal, or is the journey the goal? Like, which one are you going to put focus on? Because that's going to heavily dictate how the sessions of travel should go. I like the journey better than the destination. I like that, you know?
Okay. I like the others. So you go through yours and I'll go through mine.
All right. What's the saying, the famous saying? It's not about the journey, it's about the destination. Or no, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But I like that because it encapsulates how I view travel sessions.
It's the man who loves walking will get further than the man who loves the end destination.
Ah, yeah, see? I wasn't even aware of that one. Wise words. Yes. So I like travel sessions. I think when you make the journey the center point of your campaign, or at least an arc of your campaign, like just getting somewhere, you need to make the journey interesting. Fucking obviously. This is something I don't like about generic D&D, this is something I don't like about D&D rules as written. I don't like that you get a long rest every single night. I don't like that every single time you sleep, you are just miraculously back to full health. And that is why I edited the campaign rules that I'm playing right now, kind of going back to what I was saying a little bit ago. A long rest can only be taken if the party is able to spend 36 hours in downtime in a safe place. Generally speaking, that means they can only long rest at major civilizations. They can long rest in the wilderness, but they have to take extreme measures to build a base and make sure the area is safe. And still, it might get interrupted if they roll bad. But
and that would add to, in the new books, they got the base building rules, the building rules with the bastion. And, that's a cool little mini game you could have, as we're going to be traveling back and forth a long while between these two cities in this campaign. Let's make our base in between, give us a respite in between so we can get that long rest kind of thing.
Exactly. Because the problem I have with random encounters, and I ran into this a lot in my previous campaign, especially as the party got more powerful, is random encounters became meaningless and useless. The party would just wipe the floor with whatever monster they rolled and they'd keep moving. And yeah, sure.
Three random encounters a day, like you're traveling for a day, 3 random encounters, unless it's like super threats, they're just going to nuke whatever it is and then move on.
Yeah, and also that's extremely unrealistic depending on, for most destinations or like most biomes that you're traveling through, 3 encounters a day is very unrealistic. And very rarely, usually I'll just do 1 random encounter a day just to keep things moving. Because if you're doing 3 random encounters a day, if it takes you a week to get to wherever you're going, dude, that's like 2 months of just walking around and rolling random encounters. That will get so boring. But
but that's one of the problems with even the module that I was thinking about running. A lot of people had is there's a section of the module where it's like literally like 4 days of travel and you're just rolling random encounters over and over for like 3 sessions.
Yeah, it just becomes meaningless. It just becomes mindless action, and you don't want your action to ever be mindless, which is why I like the updated rules. Sorry, not the updated rules, which is why I like the modified rules of Grim Hollow, because you can roll 1 random encounter every day. If you have a week-long session, good chance your party's not long resting for 7 days, for a whole week. And if you roll 1 random encounter every day, cool, your party gets a short rest at the end of the day. But like, it's not really there's gonna be a point where usually after like 2 short rests, you don't really have much else to gain from short resting anymore. Your hit dice are all out. Of course, the warlock gets their spells back and the barbarian gets a rage back. So there are some strategic elements there, but you're really going to be feeling it at the end of that travel arc, because you start, even my party now, we've only gone 3 sessions in a dungeon and doing their little arc, and they're already itching for a long rest. They feel it really bad right now. And they only had 4 encounters. So it's like one of those things, if you're doing the journey, I don't want to say like I would 100% recommend this, because it's always going to vary, but you want to make that journey brutal. You want to weather your party, whether it's by incorporating more gritty rules for travel, or incorporating different sets of challenges instead of just rolling on a random encounter, or even crafting some side hooks and side plots for your party to explore on the journey. Don't just make it all travel. Maybe your party runs into like a hut in the woods and there's some intrigue about that, or they find a cave, or they find a civilization or a colony of goblins, and there's, it's not just like, okay, now you roll a troll, now you roll an ogre, now you roll a giant. It's like, no, you have these little other threads that your party can take a session to diverge into.
Cool things along the way.
Exactly.
Not just random shit happening. You like pre-plan things that maybe go with the plot. Maybe it's something that you found online, like a little like one shot. You're like, oh, I want to shove this in my game, or like a dungeon. That's what travel should be. There should be tiny destinations along the way to the big destination, not just walking and random bullshit.
Exactly. Like take the Lord of the Rings, for example. The whole first movie of Lord of the Rings is them just walking. It's them just traveling. But even as the movies go on, the plot thickens and stuff, and Aragorn's troop kind of goes off and does their own thing. But Frodo and Sam, for the entire trilogy, they're just walking. But they have so many little side arcs and plots that they delve into when they get captured by Faramir, and they go through that whole thing before going off to actual Mordor. They even, in the extended edition on the third one, they have a little side arc in Mordor where they get caught up with some orcs and they got to figure that out. And then you got the fight with Shelob. So there's so much stuff that is being packed into your travel arc that doesn't necessarily affect the main outcome, but it's stuff for the players to engage with.
Oh my God, dude. Imagine being the DM of that split party.
Oh, fuck that. That's
that would be so horrible.
Dude, that's two different campaigns. God.
It would be two different sessions that are in the same world that can affect each other.
In the third movie, dude, that's your West Marches campaign right there. Critical, we know what Critical Role is doing.
West Marches.
Because
that would actually be a pretty cool idea for a campaign, though, is like, as a DM, you're just like, yeah, you need to get this thing to here. You're going to have to walk. Each session is going to be 4 days. We got about 1,000 days. Like, as a player, like, fuck, we got to get there. We got to do things to make it faster. Fucking, we only get long rests on our little key points. That'd be a cool session where, like, where the end goal is, but it's like realistic. Like, man, we've been walking in this forest for 3 freaking days.
We would eat nothing but maggoty bread for 3 stinking days. Yeah.
All right, you spoiled my incognito reference, dog.
Sorry. But yeah, so it's one of those things of, if you're gonna make the emphasis on the journey, make the emphasis on the journey. If you're just thinking about the destination the whole time you're traveling, then you're doing it wrong. You want the party to kind of get caught up in these other little side arcs and side plots, and keep their engagement on something else while they are continuing to progress to the main destination. So that's how I would do it. Definitely, if you're focusing on the journey, fill that journey with as much stuff as possible and make your party feel it by the end. Make your party weathered. The fact that they have been traveling for so long, they should feel that. Their characters should feel that. The players should feel that psychologically when they do finally get to the big city and they can just take a second. You'll know you've done your job in making this journey gruesome and hard and engaging when the party wants a shopping session at the end.
It's the Skyrim method. You've got the location you're trying to get to. You're walking there. 5 seconds in your walk. Oh, what's this cave right here? I haven't gone in there before.
All of a sudden, you're joining the Dark Brotherhood. All of a sudden, you're with the companions. It's like, it's like 5 million things.
Like, you keep walking like, oh, it's a Stormcloak encampment. That's part of the main story we've been telling. Like, let's go see what they know about the plot. It's something that relates back to the main reason they're walking or something. You never know.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you've joined the revolution. You've overthrown the empire of Skyrim, and you're like, oh shit, I was supposed to be at Solitude 7 weeks ago. Fuck. Fill the journey. Fill the journey. If you're going to focus on the journey, then fill it.
All right. Well, I am the inverse. I'll play the bad guy. The journey, unless the campaign is focused around long travel arcs, I just don't care. I'll do 1 travel session, maybe 2, and it'll be the point of interest in the travel session, like you guys made it halfway, a town blew up and there's a monster attacking it or something, a town you're passing through to get to your destination. Or it'll basically be like a one-shot session where it's like, yeah, you've been traveling, maybe roll some encounters that are related to the plot. Maybe they're being hunted by somebody, who knows? But I like to treat it as one session because I find that players are going somewhere for a reason. They want to be there. If we're spending 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions on the road to get to their goal, if it's not a travel campaign, that is just way too much, in my opinion. Like, we're trying to progress the plot as players. We're trying to progress our stories. I need to get to this city on top of that mountain. Max I'll do is 2 sessions for travel. Because the point is there. All these side stories are cool. And, if you're doing a travel campaign, like Tom said, where, the destination is not as important, maybe we're just delivering something. Yeah, all the exploring and the side quests and stuff is super cool, especially when you're doing the low fantasy kind of rule set where, rests are harder to come by, things like that. But I love high fantasy games. I love getting to the POIs. I love, doing that and running the cool dungeon for my players. The travel's just a little boring for me. It's a little boring. Oh, yeah, there's a cool little thing on the side of the road. I love bullywugs, like you said. There's the bullywug camp here. Dude, there's a fucking dragon siege coming at the city we're heading to. Fuck the bullywugs. We gotta go. Move on. The DM teased us that a red wizard is taking over the city we're going to. We gotta get there. Sorry, bullywugs. We're busy.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. If you're gonna make it focused on the travel, probably best not to give it a time limit, because then your party's gonna fixate on that. Definitely don't give it a time limit if the journey is the adventure. But
I've found that, like, if you put POIs, if you don't like inform your players somehow, like, hey, this is the point of our session tonight, they'll just be like, well, we need to continue what we need to do. Let's not bother with that cave, guys. It's we're already a little hurt. Let's just go. Like, I feel like you're going to waste so much time as a DM and so much effort. Because players, I feel like you could pinhole players into like feeling like they have to go explore this stuff rather than, just like having their agency, where the point is to get to the cool spot. The journey is awesome, but, have a cool travel session. Make it fun. If you have multiple travel sessions of the same stuff, and again, I keep saying this, take it with a grain of salt. If your campaign is about traveling far distances and having cool one-shot session things, then that's cool. But I find that long travels with multiple sessions, unless there's cool stuff going on, it just gets boring. It just gets boring. And players want to get to the end goal. It's like, why are we talking to this hag in this swamp? We're supposed to be halfway in the desert right now.
I think, honestly,
that's my opinion. 1 or 2 sessions, couple points of interest.
That's valid. And it takes me to my next point is I think good campaigns will have arcs that are both of these things. I think you can definitely, you can and should probably combine both of these types of mentalities of sometimes the next arc, it lies in the city and you just want to kind of hand wave the travel, maybe have, like Mitch said, a session or 2 of travel, and then you're there and you can start the next part of your campaign. But sometimes that next arc is just getting somewhere. One of my favorite things to do in campaigns, and it's going to be a little different in the one that I am now, the one that I'm running now, but I love, no matter what kind of campaign it is, if it's seafaring, if it's dark, if it's tropical, if it's temperate, regular fantasy, I will always throw my party into a snow arc, into an Arctic arc, where they just have to spend a week getting somewhere in the desolate Arctic. You can't teleport here because magic's weird, or you can't teleport here because you don't know where it is. You just got to go into the barren nothingness of snow and glaciers and tundra and find the thing you're looking for, whether it's an artifact or a destination or, a city or whatever. You just got to survive. Just get there. Because we've talked about this before, but the snow arcs are usually more intense. It just comes with the environment.
Yeah. Same with like deserts, or you're going through like a scary jungle, haunted woods. That's the thing. The travel has to be the point if you're going to do many travel sessions.
Yeah, it has to be interesting.
The point is you are walking through this scary woods. There are haunted mansions and castles in here. There are monsters hunting you actively. Adding all these layers is how you make the long travel arc work.
Yeah.
For me, I like to run the game where we're getting to the POIs, but I love playing the game in Travel Arcs. If they're done well, like Tom's saying, you need to add these other features to make it interesting. Because let's be honest, most of the time in travel, in modules, and even in like homebrew campaigns from DMs, random monster encounter. All right, you travel another 10 miles. Random monster encounter. All right, you guys take a long rest. Let's do it again.
If you're doing the random encounters, you have to make those encounters. You either have to scale up the monsters or scale down the party. In this scenario for my campaign, I've scaled down the party. So random encounters are genuinely scary. It might not have any lasting impact on the plot, but it does pose a genuine threat to the player's characters. It poses a genuine threat to the player characters every single time that they roll a yes for a random encounter because their resources
are great. Yeah.
Their resources are actively getting dwindled down because they can't just regain them at the end of the day. So if you're going to do random encounters, make sure that even if the plot is not being affected, make sure there is something else being affected. Make it very challenging.
Yes. Yeah, if the random encounters, this is the problem why people have problems with random encounters. Even me, we've been talking down on random encounters this whole time. They can't be the only thing that's happening in the travel. Like Tom was saying, like I'm saying, you need some other mechanics. It can't just be roll on the table because then it's a slog. It's like, oh, I guess I'll roll again. You know, the players are like, can we just get to where we're going? But if it's treacherous environments, oh, we just found a castle along the way. Let's rest here. We're going through the spooky forest. We have to roll sanity checks. And then you're rolling random encounters. Oh, is the spooky ghosts are going to come and get us? But there's all this other shit layered on top of it. That's the problem, is the random encounters are good, but they're alone. It's just them to carry the travel. And then like exhaustion checks and shit like that. Who cares? That's boring. Yeah. So long sessions, run them the way Tom run them. For shorter travel sessions, either just skip it or have a cool POI session in between, and that's it.
Cool. Let's move on. Mitch, you want to do some double trouble here? We did a mini wisdom check. Maybe it's time to go monster mode.
Maybe it's time to flip that switch and go monster mode. Yeah.
All right, let's go monster mode. All right, Tom.
Again, I'm going to read you the description of the monster and see if you can guess it.
We're doing monster mode
running the show this week.
Yeah, Mitch is running monster mode this time. He's going to read me a monster. I do not know what he's about to say. And essentially the goal is Mitch is just going to name off a monster, and I'm going to make an encounter around that monster after he gives me the lore and background of the monster itself. Again,
it could be a combat encounter, a social encounter.
Yeah.
You know, where this monster maybe might fit in a campaign. But a nice, cool encounter with the monster is what we're aiming for.
And again, I don't know how to prove this to the listeners, but I do not know what he's about to say. So it's an on the spot thing. Mitch, go ahead.
Okay, so
I don't like
the
how you're
name
laughing
of the
already.
monster. The name of the monster. I'm laughing because of the description. The name of the monster is in the description like 6 times, so I'm just gonna have to blank it out. I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna blank it out.
All right.
Blank. Embody delusion and predatory guile. These cunning demons know the most effective traps are those that individuals devise for themselves. Despite having massive claws and overwhelming physicality, Blank excel at using flattery and misdirection to coerce victims into isolating themselves and harming others. In the abyss, Blank act as lone hunters or deceitful advisors to greater demons. Blank seek routes to the material plane and relish being summoned by magic users. They eagerly serve mortals while tempting them to betray their allies and indulge in hubristic fantasies. A Blank strives to murder its summoner once the magic user has committed irredeemable misdeeds, and the mortal soul is surely condemned to the abyss.
What the?
And the art for this creature.
Fuck.
And the art for this creature is awesome in this new book.
Fuck, demons? A demon. Everything you just described makes me think of devils. Man. Are you expecting me to get this eventually?
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I am so.
It's probably my favorite. It's one of my favorite 2 demons.
Is it the Nelfishnay?
No, that was the one I told Tom before the podcast. I'm torn on 2 that I've chose for you. I didn't tell him what they were. That was the other one.
Oh, fuck, dude. The Merilith? Fuck, dude, I'm at a loss. I'm not very familiar with
Four
demon.
arms.
4 arms?
4 arms.
Oh, nope. I'm not going to get it. I think I know the exact creature you're talking about, but I cannot remember its name. I'm not familiar very well with Demonkin.
I love fiends and demons are my favorite monsters to run because they're just so evil. It's so easy.
The lore,
it's so easy to run them as just evil monsters.
I love demon lords, and I know a lot about the lore of demon lords, but the lesser demons I am not very familiar with. I do not gravitate towards those. I think I'm gonna. I think I'm
this
gonna
might
give
be
up.
This might be a good hint. This creature is like one of the only ones in the game that can just cast power word stun.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Is it gonna make me mad? It's gonna make me mad.
The Glabrezu.
Glabrezu, yep, it's the one. Yep, like you said,
got
the 4 arms,
big claws.
Yep,
and the 2 little arms that cast the spells underneath.
Yep. When you said 4 arms, that's the image that came to my mind. But
yeah, the Nelfanchi was my second choice, which has amazing art, by the way. That new art, all of the redesigns of the monsters, for the most part, in the new monster manual, are insanely good. Like when you look at them, you're like, I want to run a session around that. Then you click to the next monster and you're like, man, I want to run a session around that.
Yeah, new monster manual fucking slaps. The artwork is awesome. Nalvashne is one of those. The Nalvashne got like one of the biggest glow ups in the entire monster manual.
That monster looks so stupid before. Yeah. Oh my God. It looks insane now. It's awesome. All right. But yeah, the Glabrezu, you got to make an encounter. They get summoned by mortals. They want to try and find a way into the mortal plane. They serve greater demons as advisors. They're usually enforcers as well. They're like the muscle. They're the muscle, like the general kind of demon lords.
How do you spell it? I'm going to look it up now.
Glabrezu. They're good against spellcasters. And they're good against, melee characters because they have nice physical might, but they can also cast spells.
Glabrezu.
And they, as most demons do, advantage on saving throws for spells.
Glabrezu. Okay, so I do like this. This theme here. I'm reading its attacks right now. Pincer, pummels. It's got some spell casting, fly.
Super high strength. It's strong. It'll put up a fight with all the melee characters. But it's got it's got a couple of tricks in his back pocket for spells. It's not like big damage spells. It's not like crazy stuff. It's like confusion, dispelling magic, darkness so they can't see. It can fly around.
Yeah. Okay. Individuals devise
it's got
for
a best
themselves.
of both worlds.
Despite having massive claws, it excels at using flattery and misdirection.
I gotta let you come up with the encounter.
All right.
I keep saying things but I gotta let you come up with it.
Flattery and misdirection to coerce its victims into isolating themselves and harming others. Okay, I like this. Confusion. Each creature in a 10-foot sphere. It's a wisdom save. It lasts for 1 minute. Okay, that's not...
Dude, I gotta play a wizard in your campaign. Just use all these spells we never get to see.
Yeah. I wish...
There's so many spells you just never see.
I wish it had like some sort of like disguise. Wish it had like some sort of disguise ability. But I think it's a large demon. Yes. It's a large demon. This reads more like a devil to me, so I think I'm going to kind of go that route. Not going to reskin it, but I'm going to kind of go that route. I like the idea of this thing being so powerful, but choosing not to harm something, not to harm someone, but to influence someone to harm others, like it says in the description. I like that. I think this is the secret BBEG of a campaign. What I think of is the Glabrezu has infiltrated a kingdom, a falling kingdom, a kingdom that is in a massive decline, whether or not they are, on the verge of war or they're economically falling. There's a bigger poverty gap. Things are declining fast in this city, kingdom, civilization, whatever you want to call it. And this thing has seen that. It understands, this city is ripe for the taking. And they then go to the king or queen or whatever figure in power, and they start influencing them. And they start kind of poisoning the mind. This thing gives me a worm tongue vibe from Lord of the Rings, where it is slowly starting to poison the mind of a king or a queen. And that king or the queen, instead of like in the name of trying to bring the city back up, they actually end up only hurting the city more. Like they start isolating themselves from other kingdoms that are maybe trying to assist or aid. And then the party's trying to figure out the whole time, like, why is our leader acting out of character? Why is the figure in power coming down with an iron fist instead of trying to like work with other cities for aid and stuff? Why are they closing their borders and casting everyone out and calling them enemies of the kingdom? And then eventually, as the party keeps doing their infiltrations and getting higher up the ladder, they realize, oh shit, this dude isn't doing it. He's being mind controlled, or he's being influenced by a Glabrezu. Because when you think like, I'm thinking from a party perspective, the party goes, all right, the king is the problem. Let's just fucking kill him. He's just a guy. We just got to get close to him. They finally go through this entire like infiltration mission of going through the castle and bypassing the guard. Maybe they got to fight a couple guards and stuff like that. And they finally get to the king and they're, you know, not sweating at all. They're like, all right, we got the king alone, or we got the king with his one guard. Let's fucking get him. Once we do this, it's not going to be pretty, but then we can actually put someone in power. And then the king's sitting there. He's like, oh, you think I'm alone? The fucking Glabrezu walks out. And they're like, oh, shit. Now, this is the real boss. This is the hidden boss that you do not reveal until your party is about to get shit stomped by him.
Yeah, and you have them intimidate the party. They're supposed to be cunning. They have super high intelligence and wisdom. Yeah. 19 intelligence, 17 wisdom. And they got 16 charisma. They got the Riz. Yeah. They're smooth talking. They walk out. Imagine them as a well kind of esteemed general, but they're a fucking demon.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you can even, there's, you know, it's obviously it's not clothed like, in the picture, but you can put like some clothes on them to like give them a little bit more sophistication. Like put some robes or cloaks or like ornamental armor.
And I love the picture of like his big clawed arms are behind his back like a soldier, and his little arms are just in front of him, just like,
dude, the fucking like the General Grievous reveal.
The General Grievous reveal. Yeah. You could even have it where like maybe the king comes to fruition. He's like, I've been listening to my advisor. Make him serve as like the head advisor to the king. He's twisted his mind. He's corrupted him. The king comes to the Glabrezu, pincer arm, pushing, just chops his head off, and then he goes to fight the party.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things of like, you want to keep this demon hidden from the party until it is time to fight and they cannot escape. Because
now, obviously, lower level campaign.
Yeah, it's only a CR9.
It is only CR9.
Yeah, but a creature like this works very well for that gritty type of play. A high magic campaign, sure, you can make them work, but I think it works perfectly for this gritty type of play. And I mean, they have telepathy too. So like they have telepathy and true sight. Let's read the new true sight here. You can see a normal and magical darkness.
Talking to the players in their brain.
Yeah, you can you can see creatures that are invisible. You can see illusions. You can see transformations. You can see into the ethereal plane. So like this thing is all seeing within 120 feet. That's a lot. That's a long range of true sight. Even like if the king is like in his council meetings with all of his other, you know, important figures, you can have the Glabrezu like on the other side of the wall, just like feeding him things to say, or like, you know, if he can, you know, listen in the meeting, and when someone's, sir, the ambassador from the kingdom down south, they are demanding this, and you know, the Glabrezu's in the king's ear. They're trying to poison you. Like they're trying, you know, this is obviously a power move. You need to say no to this. And just that's how you, yeah.
They seek to betray you.
Yeah.
Trust not their words.
Exactly. And
you maybe in the background of this, I got to jump in. Maybe in the background of this, you know, maybe the king was desperate for answers because all this faction intrigue is going on and these destabilized governments. Maybe the Glabrezu contacted him. I can help. I have power. I have wisdom. And maybe the king, court wizard, I need you to summon this creature.
Yeah. I mean, look, it has telepathy 120 feet. So what, even in the, you know, in a lot of this stuff that we're saying right now is not necessarily going to be revealed to the players as it's happening. But in your head canon, you know, you can have the Glabrezu like, or you can even do this with one of the players too. But like, you can have the Glabrezu keep itself hidden for a little bit while it's talking to the king or the players. It has 120 feet of telepathy. So it can be kind of like this hidden little ambassador of like, I am a wise sage and I've been through all of the, I've lived for centuries and I have all knowing power. Let me help you. And the king, okay, yeah, let's hear it out. And then like after a few months of the king getting close to this ambassador, then the demon reveals itself. And it doesn't have to be like hey, I'm a demon. Do you want me to help you? Like they're conniving. I
have something you seek, but you owe me something in return.
Yeah. You can kind of again, this, like I said, this thing gives me very devilish vibes, even though it's a demon. So you can kind of take that route with it. Yeah.
It even has the +7 deception.
Yeah. Yeah. It has the +7 deception and demonic restoration. If the Glabrezu dies outside of the abyss, its body dissolves into ichor and it gains a new body instantly. Reviving all of its
demons.
Yeah. So no.
All demons, when you kill them, they revive in the abyss with full health.
Yeah. So like, cool. The party kills this guy in the throne room, and the king comes to his own. I'm so sorry. I was under his influence. Blah blah blah. Well, he's a demon. He's just gonna come back and keep doing this. All right, cool. Party's got to go into the abyss now and finish the job. And that's the final arc of the campaign. The villain has been revealed. Now you got to go fight the Glabrezu in his lair.
All right. How does that encounter go?
So, well, it depends on what realm of the abyss you want the Glabrezu to be on, because that is going to, or what layer of the abyss, because that is going to really dictate kind of what the lead up is getting there, because each layer of the abyss, depending on the demon lord that layers over it, is very, very different. Very themed. So take that into consideration.
I think here, let me find the demon. There is a specific demon that's about trickery, the demon lord. I think it's Fraz-Blue.
Fraz-Blue. Not very familiar with that one.
Yes. So he is a shapeshifter, trickster demon. He's big, green. He's got wings. I think it would be his layer of hell, or of not hell. His layer of the abyss. I'm thinking of the fiends. He is one of the demon lords. He's all about beguiling foes, psychic anguish. He conjures walls and doors. His layer actions are insane. Simulacrum, conjuring just like walls for the party to have to like move around. He can just like deal psychic damage to creatures near him.
All right.
And he shapeshifts to whoever he wants. He's one of the only creatures with a special version of the Alter Self spell.
Okay. What layer does he reside on?
To medium. I have no idea.
Fair enough.
But it would probably be his layer. He's one of the only creatures that can alter self and make himself a medium creature.
Oh, okay.
Even though he's a large.
Cool. So with that knowledge, yeah, let's make him on that layer of the abyss with that demon lord. So I think the adventure here is, and we can give it a little bit of a travel session if you want, of them getting to like the citadel that he's been reborn at. But this citadel should be trickery and illusion. There should be fake walls and maze encounters. There should be trapdoors and shit. The thing I think of immediately, and this is a huge power jump, so you might have to do some homebrew to make this make sense. But like, party falls in a maze. There's a fucking Garistro in the maze. They got to get out. That is a different layer, because that's Baphomet's realm, is the maze. Oh, fuck. Okay. Well, but the overall theme of getting to this Glabrezu should be trickery and uncertainty. I like the Shadowfell mechanics, and I know this is the Abyss, but I like the Shadowfell mechanics of madness, where the players don't go mad and like get debuffs. But I had like this, I had a Shadowfell arc on my previous campaign where they were the more time they spent, the more they were slowly going mad. And like, I would give them little like role play bits to incorporate into their character. So every time they took a rest, I'd have them roll a wisdom saving throw, and whoever failed, I'd be like, okay, Bard, your character thinks that everyone's probably going to betray him at some point. No debuff, no anything like that. But just role play your character now with that. And then he was being like a fucking dick to everyone because he thought they were going to betray him. So maybe do some of that stuff where like you're kind of, your players are in the fucking abyss. You don't go to the abyss and come out alive. Like this turns people insane. So,
dude, that guy in the abyss, you can kind of do whatever you want as a DM.
Yeah.
Just have random people walk up to him and they're talking to these people for, maybe 10 minutes. The person's walking with them. They look around. He's not there anymore. He's just gone. He wasn't real.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like messing with their mind.
Messing with their mind, and maybe again incorporate some like role play debuffs of like, yeah, your character is pretty convinced that that everyone's going to betray him, or like, your character all of a sudden feels like they're forgetting something. And then that'll make your player almost kind of second guess, like, wait, is the DM take something out of my inventory? Did the DM actually do this, or am I just thinking? Like, you'll even get into the players' heads about this.
Yeah. You know, because, or is it like, is the DM trying to remind me of something that I forgot?
Yeah.
That helps us in this adventure. And then they're going crazy as a person.
Yeah. So definitely play with, I was going to say, just definitely toy with your players in this. Make them question everything. Make them believe that everything and nothing is real at the same time. What were you going to say, Mitch?
How does the actual encounter of the creature look, the monster?
Okay, let's see. So let's look at spells here. We have darkness.
Are you doing it in the abyss or in the king's courtroom?
In the abyss. The final encounter with this creature, because I think what it should be is there should be 2 encounters with this creature. When the party first encounters them in the king's courtroom, they beat them, hopefully barely, and then they get banished back to the abyss. But the party has to go finish the job, or this guy's going to keep coming back. And then they got to go fight him on his. They got to go fight him in his lair.
You got to have him say something while he's dying in the first encounter to make the party have to go kill him. Like, I know the secrets of, and then he disappears, or, like he's still got dirt on other kings or something.
Or like as he's like disintegrating, he said, "I'll see you soon." Just like something to make the party understand, like,
yes.
Like, I'm fucking coming back, bitches. This isn't over. That you won a battle. So then that will make them have to go kill him in his lair. You know what a lair means, baby? Lair actions. So I think if this is a master of deceit and influence, because I'm looking at, I like the confusion. I like power word stun. Well, actually, I don't. I hate power word stun.
Well, you can cast it once. So I think that's probably used as, I'm going to power word stun the melee character so I can fly over to the back line and start wrecking shit.
Yeah. Immunities to poisoned and poisoned. So that's pretty cool. Pummel, spellcasting, pincer, magic resistance. Pretty standard stuff. Not a super complex villain from a combat perspective. But again, the true sight. The true sight is nice. And I think what you should do here is you should implement some sort of layer action. Much easier done online. But if you're in person, if you're a mini fiend like me, you might want to get a couple minis of this guy, because I think he should have some sort of like mirror image or something in his lair where there are 3 different versions of him. And at the beginning of every round, they poof up again, and they're all running around and doing stuff. But the party, it's kind of like the anti-Ethel fight from Baldur's Gate.
Yes, I'll do you one maybe even a little better. But this is your monster mode, so actually I should. I was gonna say
we've evolved past me just doing this.
You have him make you replace all of the party's minis with the Glabrezu. So their own party members, they're confused as to which Glabrezu. All of their friends look like the Glabrezu because their mind has been influenced and corrupted because poison smoke fills the room. It's hard to see. And they think their friends look like the Glabrezu.
Oh, dude, this is one of those, if it's online, people literally will not be able to tell.
Yeah, because you can change each player's model to the Glabrezu, but they see their vision from their own model. So they'll know, but it's, which one is he?
Yeah. So like, it's one of those things like, you don't know. Yeah, that would be cool. If you're in person, maybe just doing the mirror image thing would be a little bit easier and not allow your players to metagame too much. But online, do that. Or do some sort of thing where like, I like this being, okay, I know. This goes back to when the party first gets here. As they're exploring, getting to this final boss chamber, they walk into a prison. They find like a few like NPCs like strung up. Please help us, they're gonna kill us. They help them. They you know, the NPCs thank them, get their gear and everything like that. They then are now, you know, party aid, and whatever encounters the party goes, those NPCs are helping. Then they get to the boss chamber. Those NPCs are fucking on the Glabrezu's side. Like, oh, we wanted to bring you right to him. We wanted to ensure
Master, we've done as you've asked.
Exactly. Make them trust no one. And I think that should be a big reveal when you get to the encounter. Everyone rolls initiative, and the guy they rescued looks over and just fucking starts swinging on one of the party members.
And he's got dead eyes, nothing in there.
Yeah. So definitely.
Or just have him cross-eyed. He's confused. Have him cross-eyed. He doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah. So I definitely think that the aspect of mistrust needs to be something that the encounter starts with. Like, fuck, dude, we just rescued these guys, and now our own trusting of them is gonna bite us in the ass. And then I think the Glabrezu should be pretty straightforward when it comes to like what they are actually doing from the combat. But I think the layer itself, when it comes to layer actions, I think it should be a number of different things. Like I said, we can do the mirror image type thing where different poofs of the Glabrezu come, and you know, as the DM, decide which one is the real one, and then as the party hits them, they disappear. We could do this sort of like the true sight aspect of him speaks to me a lot. He has the ability to cast darkness at will. Dark vision can't see through it. So darkness might be a very cool thing where at will he'll just, let's see, pincer attacks, uses pummel or spell casting. So you can do 2 pincer attacks and then you can spell cast. So I think at the start of every turn, he's throwing darkness somewhere and then running in there and just beating the shit out of whoever's in there. So like, you know, keeping range or making sure that the barbarian is the one that is always tanking the damage, and having everyone else strategically, like, everyone else has got to keep their distance if they don't want to get darkness thrown on them and then go get beat the fuck up for a round. So I think that would be a very good tactic of him. Just throw darkness, go beat him up. Next turn, stay on the same guy or choose a different person. Throw darkness, beat him up.
Just a reminder, darkness does not work with your dark vision, will not work in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like you said, tactic is pretty straightforward. Conjure darkness, pinch somebody so you got them in your hand, and you just start attacking them. Yeah,
and they are grappled too. So that might be even a thing of like, okay, you throw darkness, you grapple someone, and then he just starts running somewhere with them. Whether it's like a poison area, because he's immune to poison. So maybe he has like a chamber of poison that he grabs someone and just runs to the chamber of poison and just goes in there with them and just starts beating them up. You know, this is not a very spellcaster heavy creature, so ranged attacks are going to do very well against it. But I think where he really is dangerous is within melee distance. So if he can grab people and bring them in the darkness or bring them in a cloud of poison, which he's immune to, that's where this is like a single damage thing. This guy isn't doing AoE. He is choosing someone and going, okay, I'm going to kill you first, then I'm going to kill you, and then I'm going to kill you. He's single-handedly targeting party members. And I think that's where you'll get the most mileage out of him in his own lair, is if he has places where he can kind of separate himself from the group.
Yeah, or you just have a bunch of holes in the ground. He's casting darkness, poison fog's coming out. It's hard to see. You don't know where he's at. He's picking your party members up and flying around. Oh, you're running. Dodge that hole. Oh, he's flying around. Drop the party member in the hole. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff you can do with this guy, especially with his true sight, because he sees everything. They see nothing.
Exactly. So, really cool monster, Mitch. That was a good one.
All right.
And I think
my favorite part of that is actually the first part where he's influencing the king.
Yeah.
And then they meet the reveal of like the demon general with the arms, and he's just conniving and scheming. What do you think his main goal would be?
Oh, well, we can look at it in 2 ways. He is servicing a demon lord, or he just saw an opportunity to rule the kingdom himself. Or he's a demon. Demons are just fucking evil. He just wanted to
eat and kill people.
He just not
bring their souls to the abyss.
Not even eat and kill people. It's just like, oh, I just wanted to watch I wanted to see if I could make this kingdom crumble. Like I was entertained by the fact of making this kingdom crumble, and I wanted to see if I could do it.
Yeah, and that could be one of the points of the session is of the campaign is everyone's talking about how this king has just gone crazy. He's doing crazy things. Why is he doing this? Even other kingdoms, if the party like talks to them, he's gone crazy. He's gone cold. He doesn't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah, very cool. I really like that first bit. The layer. I'm a very like tactile map builder. I have a lot of terrain. I've been collecting terrain for half a decade now, but I like kind of building the map and seeing what speaks to me while I'm building it. Off the rip, that kind of the fighting style should definitely be reflective of the boss kind of map that he's in. It should really revolve around him being able to take certain party members and try and distance himself from the rest of the party so he can single out people because he's just one guy and he doesn't have really any AoE spells or anything like that. Yeah, definitely one-on-one combat. It should be his goal. But I think that cool reveal.
I love the idea of him coming out and using Dispel Magic to reveal that the King's Room is the lair. And all of like Thanos when he uses that his Infinity Gauntlet to tell the story.
Yeah.
And then it's like all destroyed and there's holes everywhere and there's poison and darkness everywhere. And that's when he starts getting in the player's head.
You could even map that like that initial like us getting to the king. You could say like you feel like as you walked in through this threshold or this hallway, like you felt like you passed through something almost.
The portal.
They're in the fucking abyss now. They didn't even realize it. They were just in an illusion. They just walked right into an illusion. Yeah, a lot of possibilities with this one. We're at time, so I don't want to go too much further, but a lot of possibilities with this. I definitely like that kind of dark fantasy aspect of him being a secret villain, and when the party finds out, it's too late. They're already in his house.
Yeah.
He's about to lay some fucking beat down on him.
I just dispelled magic on the room. That portal's gone.
Yeah. Portal's been closed. You're in my house now. Like that. Good choice, Mitch. Good choice. All right, well.
I was so close to choosing the Nelfanshi. I was so close. Just because of the art.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite demons. That's why I guessed it. I was like, it kind of sounds like a Nelfishne. But yeah, that's one of my favorite demons. But I like this guy too. This is one of those demons where I see it a lot, but I've never really taken the time to like sit there and just look at it and dive into it. I really like these monster mode little segments because it forces us to explore the monster.
Cool encounters.
Yeah, I like that. I like this. That was a very good choice. I'm happy you chose that one.
Yeah, monster mode, my baby.
Monster mode. Monster mode. Cool. Well, we'll leave you here. We're at time here, so we won't take up any more. But thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Again, I don't want to be the guy to ask, but commenting, liking, sharing. This keeps the podcast going. It helps get the word out. We're doing this every week, and the more people that tune in, the more it just tells us that we're doing something right. So if you like us, if you're watching, please leave a comment, leave a like. It really does help. The algorithm overlords dictate whether or not we'll be recommended to more people. But tell your friends about us and follow us on socials, Adventure Sage, Dual Wielder _ Pixel Art. We got a lot coming. We got a lot planned. We're busy guys. Mitch, you got anything to say?
Monster mode. We out. Woo!